Geoffrey Proehl writes in his piece, "The Image is Before Us," the dramaturg embodies the presence of consciousness, embodies the critical eye that every theater maker possesses and with which every theater maker must come to terms.
Hi, my name is Juliana Armando, soon-to-be alumni of the JMU Dance Department and spokesperson for the Theater Minor.
Not actually, but if the shoe fits.
Today I want to talk to you, yes, you, about dramaturgy. Maybe you've heard this word, maybe you haven't. Don't worry, I've got you covered. You might be wondering, what does this weird theater word have to do with me and with dance? Well, let's find out. Dramaturging is happening anytime performance art is being created. Yup, you can make it a verb and make it sound even weirder. Michael Chemers writes in his aptly named piece, "What the is a dramaturg?" There is no theatrical production without dramaturgy. The question is merely how it gets done and by whom. Now, to pinpoint what dramaturgy is as a whole could take probably longer than you have to sit there and watch me make my ultimate point, but I'll give you some keywords. Analysis, conversation, research, silence, questions, observation, intellectualization, and conceptualization. I could go on, but for all intents and purposes of why I'm here, I want to focus on the role of the dramaturg. Clare Croft, dance dramaturg and professor of dance at the University of Michigan, sums it up neatly. She says the primary job of a dance dramaturg is to support the choreographer and creative team by helping them do research, by tracking down historic or visual material, documenting the rehearsal process, and weighing in on creative choices. She also says the dance dramaturg asks questions about how dance creates worlds through the intersection of image, movement, space, and sound. The way this collaboration happens varies depending on the people in the dramaturg-choreographer relationship. Our friend Geoffrey Proehl provides a slew of metaphors to consider. Dramaturg as watchdog, as audience's surrogate, woo! As hellraiser, as midwife,
As lover.
as soulmate. Honestly, it's more often than not a combination of these, and more. Chemers provides an interaction between an audience member and dramaturg Mark Bly following the performance of a play. The audience member asks, "What did you, as a dramaturg, actually do for this production?" He responded, "I can't point to anything specifically, but if you took a knife to that play, or dance, it would bleed me." Okay, now that we are inundated with metaphors for you to dwell on later, let's talk about why we are both here. Dance. Dance allows me to interact with the world in the way that I do. I try to approach all situations how I would in the studio, with humility, curiosity, acceptance, humor, playfulness, seriousness, tact, and passion. Dramaturgy opens up a door for all of this, and in a way that serves and pushes the creation and performance of work even further. Personally, I long to bridge the gap between dance getter and dance non-getter, and the main component of a dramaturg's role is to push the work so its audience can, in a sense, get it more, or at least allow the choreographer's vision to be recognized in some capacity. I believe dance gives people, not just dancers, the ability to find and hold on to true, intense, unabashed joy. And not meaning work that is traditionally happy or cheerful. I mean like when you uncover a truth or have a moment of clarity or become unable to speak after viewing a certain piece of art because it transcends all descriptors. That is joyful in my eyes. And a dramaturg can help make this happen. With both dance and dramaturgy, vulnerability, trust, acceptance, and humility are demanded, and the presence of a dramaturg in the room shifts the process to invite even more understanding, inquisitiveness, dedication, and passion. If we let it, dance can absolutely be the glue that keeps people connected, listening, and grounded in humanity. And with the dramaturg's help, the likelihood of that increases tenfold. Dramaturgy fell into my lap sort of unexpectedly, and it has changed the way I engage in rehearsals as a dancer, creator, and person. Even just learning this weird word and becoming aware of its existence will forever alter the way I move through the world as an artist. With the rise in technology, the multidisciplinary nature of dance making calls for a deeper approach, whether or not there is a role of dramaturg or not. If more dancers and dance makers had a baseline understanding of dramaturgy, then they would produce deeper and more grounded work, either by taking on a person to serve as a dramaturg or by stepping into that role themselves and viewing the work with a different set of eyes. As a dancer within the JMU Dance Department, it is not always a given that you would work with a dramaturg or ever get the chance of serving as one. I want to encourage you, the dancers, to consider pursuing the work of a dramaturg, because you have a unique and valuable perspective within that role, given that you are extremely familiar with the form. And being on the other side of the table can introduce a side of dance that you might not even see is there. If not serving as one, then I also encourage you as a student choreographer to consider working with a student dramaturg and get a taste of what that relationship can do for you and your artistic voice. Our beloved Cynthia Thompson has had a dramaturg for the majority of the work she has created in the past few years, and she says going forward that she would feel like something is missing in the rehearsal room without one. Dance can and should, in my opinion, involve research, observation, and conversation, and dramaturgy increases these components and creates opportunities for dance to be pushed even further. All this is to say, I am calling you to consider giving dramaturgy a try. Whether you want to work with one as a choreographer or serve as one for someone else's work, I think there is something to gain by pushing the dance dramaturgy world at JMU and beyond. To quote Chemers again, he says dramaturgs are committed and visionary artists who love being in rehearsal and collaborating with other artists. Now, not to overstep here, but all of the artists I have seen step through the doors of Forbes radiate this sentiment. This is a unique opportunity not available in other undergrad programs, and we have the lovely Zachary Dorsey and Joshua Streeter, who are both dramaturgs on faculty, who would be ecstatic to provide mentorship and guidance if you accept this proposition. Of course, feel free to reach out to me as well. So, I invite you to take that next step. Talk to Cynthia, or your composition teachers. Go to Zachary's office, send an email. Consider taking that next step. I deeply believe this is a pursuit worth investigating and ultimately diving into shall you choose to accept the challenge. I promise you won't regret it. I certainly didn't. And with that, I'm out of here.